I don't know how to be cute with this lollipop. There's just getting lipstick all over it. I don't know. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah. No, I don't wanna waste what's left. What's up, Hanz family, and welcome to another Hanz Miss holiday tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be a kind of chocolate-covered peppermint lady. I really wanted to mix the two, so this is it. All product details will be listed down below, as usual, including my codes and links, and let's get to it. First, we are going to start with a little bit of a foundationed up face, and I want to contour now using this Bobbi Brown foundation stick. This is an espresso. It is dark as shit, so you don't need much. And then using the Sigma F45 brush just to blend it out. This brush is great because it has very tapered ends, so you can really get right into those hollows of them cheekbones. Use any excess of the product to just kind of bring around the perimeter of your face as well. We're going to be using a lot of Cherry Cola from Makeup Geek in this tutorial, and I just want to use it right now with the Sigma E06 brush to sketch out where I want kind of this little cut crease that I'm going to do on our eyes. Then using NYX's white eye primer, I just want to put that all over what I just drew in. Sugarpill has this eyeshadow called Love Plus. I've used it before. It's super bright and pigmented and matte. And I want to start taking a fluffy brush and blending that upwards from the little crease I created. I want to have that first layer blended in very well into my skin tone and then kind of building up from there, pretty much going closer and closer to that line. Think a smoky eye. You start out light and then you go darker and darker. I'm slowly moving to Cherry Cola, and I want to take that smaller Sigma E06 brush and really intensify that line. We're pretty much just creating a cut crease, just a very large, exaggerated one. And use a fluffy brush between steps if you want, just to kind of further blend out the process. To clean up, I am taking more of that eye primer from NYX. It's actually super awesome because it's very, very white. So I ended up actually just keeping my entire eyelid white with that. It's pretty much like paint. You could also use a NYX Jumbo Milk Pencil for this step too. I just don't know where any of mine are. I like kind of laying placement down beforehand before I start just going ham in the paint. So I am taking a little bit of that Love Plus shadow, and I wanted to start kind of blending out where I am going to put the little peppermint cheeks. Pretty much keeping them towards the apples of my cheeks so that I look super cutesy. And just like the cheeks can look cutesy, your lips can really look cutesy too if you make them in kind of a smaller, exaggerated shape. So I'm taking a little bit of white cream paint. You could also do this with concealer, kind of lightening out the outsides of my lips, and then taking Jeffree Star's Redrum Velour liquid lipstick and just outlining my little shape of lips, keeping it very Cupid's bow, really intense, kind of heart shape, and a little bit more of Druglord, which is this new white liquid lipstick, and it's really great for doing an ombre effect. With white paint from Mehron, which is a body paint that's water activated, I just want to start creating those little peppermint circles on my cheeks. Kind of the creamier you make this paint, depending on how much water you add, the more pigmented it'll be. So I made mine pretty damn creamy, since white sometimes is kind of hard to make look really opaque. Using this Sugarpill lip brush really helps me to define the lines, and then using this Morphe G30 brush, which is really for contour, I am using this to put the paint all down my neck as well. And it's really great because it actually holds quite a bit of paint. And you get a really nice, even coverage. I wanted these peppermint patties to really just jump off my face, alright? So we really want to darken all around them, still using the same Sugarpill Love Plus and Makeup Geek Cherry Cola. Going with the Love Plus, blend it out, then take the Cherry Cola right up against the line. I like to use the same products in a lot of these tutorials, you guys, just because I want these to be accessible to you. I want to be able to do these tutorials and have you do them with me. Most of the products I use in one, I use in another. You know what I'm saying? I was out of coffee today, which was miserable, so I had to drink a Red Bull, which isn't nearly as good. I did decide that the peppermints on my cheeks weren't enough, so I needed some big ol' ones on my shoulders, like sexy peppermint shoulder pads. So I'm just creating that again. And then I wanted some more kind of candy cane realness going on the sides of my face. So I kind of stuck with the shape of my skull and went a little higher around my jawline. Try to make both sides as even as possible. This is Mehron's red paint, and wanted to show you guys the kind of consistency I use when I paint. It's pretty creamy. And I pretty much took this little Sigma brush, and I am drawing a dot in the middle of the peppermint and then drawing the curved lines from that dot. The dot in the middle will just help to give you a place to start so that it all looks very proportional. The lines of peppermint start out very thin towards the center and then kind of get larger as they go out. So you want to use a very thin liner brush to do this and really take your time. This is a Sigma FX10 brush, I believe. You could use a MAC 210 brush, but honestly, you could just go pick up a really thin liner brush from the craft store. They have really awesome thin ones that you can use for paint. And what are we doing? We're painting on our faces instead of canvas, you know what I'm saying? With the lines around my face, I did want to go in a pattern of thicker to thinner to thicker to thinner, right? And I did them more at an upward angle because I wanted to create a little more movement in my face. Whenever you are placing, especially lines, try to think of the movement of your body. I tried to make them generally symmetrical on the other side, but they weren't perfect, and if you mess up, it's totally fine. Let your red paint completely dry, and then add a little bit of white on top. You may have to do a couple layers of white and let them dry between, but you can cover red. Just like I was talking about the movement of our face, I did want to, with the jaw and kind of chin, I wanted to stick with that movement and really kind of stick to the curves of my face. When moving on to your neck, you could totally switch to a larger brush. I switched to this flat brush just because it was pretty much the exact shape of the stripe I wanted. I went with just, regular size stripes for this, and I really wanted to show the curve of my neck. Just like if you did these stripes vertically and kind of curved them outward, it would give your neck this appearance of a longer neck. I really wanted to create a little bit of an optical illusion, so I pretended that the stripes were still going underneath my skin on some of the parts you can see are missing. To do this, just pretend that you are drawing a stripe and pick up your paintbrush over your skin portion and then just continue again back onto the white with the paintbrush pushed to your skin. I did the same thing I did on my cheeks, on my shoulders for the peppermints. It's definitely a little harder for me on my shoulders, but we busted that shit out. If you need to clean it up, it's okay. I had to clean up mine a little bit. Since I wanted my skin to look like it was lifting forward from this candy cane, I'm taking that Sugarpill Love Plus again, and just using the shadow to go up against my skin and kind of onto the candy cane a little bit. Make sure to be a little careful because if you have not let the paint completely dry, especially the red will kind of mess up and bleed onto the white. So mainly keep this red shadow onto the white. Do this all around the candy cane where your skin shows, and do it all around the little shoulder pads too, because this will kind of make them look even more curved. I'm using a flat shader brush now, and I'm going in with Cherry Cola for Makeup Geek just to really darken around the skin. The skin itself would be casting a shadow onto the candy cane. I know that I say this in every single tutorial, but it's true. So just keep adding as much shadow as possible, because the more you add and the more you intensify this look, the more realistic it's going to look. Especially go under these lines of the face. The face to me is what really brings it all together, because you can see my skin already is kind of looking lifted among this candy cane. So really go around and really try to darken the line right around those little peppermint shoulder pads. Take this black eyeshadow. This is Corrupt for Makeup Geek. You could use any black eyeshadow. And I pretty much want to take this just on the parts that would have a lot of shadow. You don't want to take this black eyeshadow all around. Just focus it on mainly parts of right underneath where that skin would be lifting up. I mixed in a little bit of brown paint from Mehron. That's actually what was in my hair originally, because I tried this look earlier and I didn't really like it, so I had to wash it off, but I didn't wash off my hairline. I'm just drawing little drips to make it look like chocolate was just melting down my beautiful peppermint face. Try to keep the drips pretty thin and kind of random too. You don't want them all to be the same size or the same shape. You guys already know how much I love blending cream paints on top of water activated paints. They blend so beautifully, so I'm taking Kryolan's Clown White paint and just blending that a little on top of these strips to make it look like the light is catching on top, since this would be liquidy, and onto the drips themselves a little bit towards the bottom. Really intensify the top portions where we did some highlighting, just because that would be super light. And then you already know, taking the love of my life, Mocha from Makeup Geek, adding a little bit of shadow right underneath where these drips would be, because those would cast a nice little shadow, and adding a little bit of black too, just so that this brown really kind of sticks out from our face. Take a little bit of Kryolan's red liquid liner. I'm just putting a little line on top of my eye, not winging it out too much, don't want a cat eye here. Then using a little bit of black body paint to draw on a few little bottom lashes. This will give even more of a cutesy effect. I popped on some iconic lashes from House of Lashes. And this is the final look, complete with ratty old wig and headpiece that I made that lights up. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. I tried to explain a little more movement techniques when working with lines. I hope that made sense, and I hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you, Hanz family. You're the shit. And I'll see you later. Bye!